Well, good afternoon, everybody. We've had a productive summit here in Austria. There was a good discussion over dinner yesterday about tackling the generational challenge that is posed by migration, on which the UK is committed to working closely with the EU both now and in the future. And in particular, I spoke about what more could be done to eliminate people trafficking and the vile adverts that are being put online to lure migrants into making perilous journeys. And the UK will be at the forefront of efforts to ensure that social media can never be a platform for this appalling crime. We had a session this morning on internal security, where I gave an update on Salisbury. I thanked EU leaders for their strong response to this reckless and criminal act by two officers of the Russian GRU, and this sends a very strong message on our collective determination to defend the international rules-based system. This informal council has also been an opportunity to discuss our Chequers proposals directly with EU leaders. I've just had a frank bilateral meeting with President Tusk. He's confirmed the commitment of the other 27 member states to reaching a deal as soon as possible, but there are two key issues we need to resolve. We both agree there can be no withdrawal agreement without a legally operative backstop. But that backstop cannot divide the United Kingdom into two customs territories, and we will be bringing forward our own proposals shortly. On the economic partnership, there is no solution that will resolve the Northern Ireland border which is not based on the frictionless movement of goods. Our white paper remains the only serious and credible proposition on the table for achieving that objective. So there's a lot of hard work to be done, but if the political will is there on the other side, I'm confident we will reach a deal, and to do so is in the EU's interests as well as the UK's. Laura?
Thank you, Prime Minister. Laura Koonsberg, BBC News. The President of the EU Council has made it clear he doesn't think your plan can work. Chancellor Merkel has said there is still substantial progress to be made. Other European leaders have made it plain today they do not think that Chequers can work. So with the EU against your plan, with large chunks of your party at home against your plan, how can you credibly cling on to the deal you struck at Chequers with your cabinet?
Well, look, I'm negotiating, and I'm negotiating hard in the interests of the British people. I'm negotiating to deliver on what the British people voted for in the referendum. But I'm also clear that if we're going to deal with the commitments we've made in relation to Northern Ireland, we do need to ensure that there is no hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland. And we need to do that in a way that retains the integrity of the United Kingdom. To do that, we need to have the frictionless movement of goods across the border. The only proposal on the table at the moment that will deliver on that frictionless movement of goods across the table is the proposal that we have put forward in the white paper. So yes, concerns have been raised. I want to know what those concerns are. There's a lot of hard work to be done, but I believe that there is a willingness to do a deal. But let nobody be in any doubt that, as I've always said, we are preparing for no deal. So that if we get to the position where it is not possible to reach a deal, then the British people can be confident that we will have done what is necessary to ensure we make a success of leaving the European Union, regardless of the terms on which we do so.
And have the chances of no deal just gone up?
We are continuing to work for a good deal. I think you will have heard both President Tusk and a number of the EU leaders saying that they are looking and hoping, working to that good deal. But there's a lot of work to be done, and we will be doing that obviously over the next few weeks. And what will continue to drive me will be delivering for the British people. Faisal.
Prime Minister, it was you that said rather recently it's either my deal or no deal. As we've heard, the EU Council, having talked about this, the EU27 have said Chequers won't work. The Dutch Prime Minister just stood at that lectern and said the Netherlands is better prepared for no deal than the UK. Isn't this all starting to fall apart now?
No, look, I have always said that these negotiations were going to be tough. And at various stages of these negotiations, different tactics would be used as part of those negotiations. What I'm focused on is delivering on the vote of the British people and delivering that in a way which ensures we maintain, we deliver on our commitments of no hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland, that we do so by retaining the Union of the United Kingdom, and we protect jobs in doing that. The proposal we have put forward is the only proposal on the table that actually delivers on that long-term sustainable future by offering the free and frictionless movement of goods across borders. So if there are concerns from the European Union, let's hear what those concerns are, and let's sit down and look at those concerns. But what we need to ensure is that at the end of the day, the deal that comes out of this is one that delivers for the British people. I believe that we can reach a good deal which does exactly that, but is also in the interests of the European Union. And the key. Yes, Jason.
Jason Gross from the Daily Mail. Prime Minister, you came here hoping for some warm words and encouragement on Chequers and also for a firm date in the diary in November to actually get a deal hammered out. You've got the EU President saying your proposals won't work, and the prospect of that summit seems to be receding. This is a setback, isn't it? There's no way to dress this up other than that.
No. Well, first of all, you say that I came here hoping for a date in November. No, actually, I have consistently said that we are working to the October deadline, which was originally the one set by the European Union. Now, what has been agreed today by the 27 is that they work to that October deadline, as I understand it, and then consider whether an agreement can be finalised at a November date. But we're working to that October deadline. I welcome, actually, the fact that they have said that that is the date that we're working for, because that's what we've always seen as the point. And as I've just said, there is no counter-proposal on the table at the moment that actually delivers on what we need to do and respects the integrity of the United Kingdom and respects the result of the referendum. That's what we've put forward. Tom.
Thank you, Prime Minister. You've said your proposal is the only one on the table at the moment to continue with frictionless trade on goods. If the EU come forward with their own proposal that would continue frictionless movement of goods, would you be prepared to move away from Chequers? And second, may I ask, you said you don't want a new customs border down the Irish Sea. Is your new proposal a new regulatory border down the Irish Sea?
Well, you'll see what our new proposal is, Tom, when we come forward with it. What I'm very clear about, and I have said consistently, is we need to ensure that nothing is done which effectively carves Northern Ireland away from the rest of the United Kingdom. And that's why I've raised the issue and objected to the Commission's original proposal in terms of what they said put forward, which would effectively have created a border down the Irish Sea. Now, as I've just said, if there are concerns about the proposal we've put forward for frictionless goods, let's actually understand what those concerns are. I understand reference has been made to the integrity of the single market. Actually, we looked at that. We recognise the need and the EU's desire to respect the integrity of the single market, and that's why we've put forward a proposal which we believe does exactly that. Mesa?
Thank you, Prime Minister. Two EU leaders today have said that there should be a second referendum in the UK, and in fact the Prime Minister of Malta said that the EU were unanimous in wanting to see a second referendum. Do you think too many people in the EU are pinning their hopes on Britain changing its mind about Brexit? And do you think that the voices back home that are calling for a second referendum are undermining your push to get a deal?
Well, I think that I want to make my position absolutely clear, which is that there will be no second referendum. The government will not accept a second referendum because there has been a vote of the people. It took place in June 2016, and people voted to leave the European Union. I think there is of course, you've heard those voices that talk about a second referendum from Europe that talk about a second referendum. Actually, others have, I think, now started to recognise perhaps rather more that this is going to happen. We are going to leave the European Union. So we will leave on the 29th of March 2019, and there will be no second referendum. We gave people their choice. People made their choice. It's the duty of me as Prime Minister, of the government, of politicians across the House of Commons to deliver on that vote. Last question, I'll take James.
Prime Minister, do you wish now that last year you would never agreed to the principle of the Northern Ireland backstop? Because it's caused you no end of trouble, hasn't it?
No, I think it is absolutely essential for us as the United Kingdom government to recognise the needs of the people in Northern Ireland. The people in Northern Ireland want to be able to carry on their daily business and their daily lives and their daily business across that border with Ireland as they do today. I think it is absolutely a key part of these negotiations, as I've made very clear, that we deliver for the people of Northern Ireland. Because the deal that I'm working for is going to be a deal in the best interests of the people of the whole of the UK, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland.
Even if that means no deal.
If there is no agreement on a deal that is acceptable to the United Kingdom, then we're preparing for no deal. I believe we can get a good deal. I believe there is a growing desire to sit down and ensure that we can achieve a deal. I'm pleased that we're looking at that October deadline in order to be able to do that. But I'm also very clear that we need to, what I'm doing is negotiating to deliver for the people across the whole of the United Kingdom, and that includes the people of Northern Ireland. Thank you.